This week's challenge is on the topic of abortion. And here's how the challenge reads. It says this: why did I stop identifying as pro-life? Quite simply, I learned that increasing contraceptive use, not banning abortion, was the key to decreasing the number of abortions. Given that the pro-life movement focuses on banning abortion and is generally opposed advocating greater contraceptive use, I knew that I no longer fit. I also knew that my biggest allies in decreasing the number of abortions were those who supported increased birth control. In other words, pro-choice progressives. And so I stopped calling myself pro-life. Now I'm going to answer this challenge by pretending that I know nothing about whether increasing contraceptive use would actually decrease abortion. And the reason I'm going to pretend that I don't know that information is because I want to answer this question in the way that I think most pro-lifers would experience the question. That is, they run across a person who says something like this, and they don't have, the statistics about contraceptive use and its correlation with abortion memorized, or even have, ready access to that information. So I'm just going to assume that I don't know anything about that, and how would I then proceed to respond to a person responding to this challenge? Because as a pro-lifer, you'd still have to say something to such a claim. So instead of trying to challenge the claim that increasing the use of contraception would somehow decrease the rate of abortion, I would take a different approach. And what I would do is I would first ask a question, a clarifying question. And here's the key question I'd ask. I'd ask the person, why are you interested in decreasing the number of abortions? Why does that matter to you? That, I believe, is the key question. Now, this question is critical because it tells me exactly what this person's view is about abortion. And so, for example, if they say to me, well, the reason I want to decrease the number of abortions is because I think that abortion kills an innocent human being, or something to the extent of that, then my response would be, well, then you would have to agree then that if you think abortion kills an innocent human being, then you should make killing an innocent human being illegal, thereby banning abortion. That seems to be the most logical thing to do, given your view that abortion kills an innocent human being. Now, if the person responded by saying, well, the reason I want to decrease the number of abortions is because abortion is bad, or abortion hurts women, or abortion is the less than ideal choice for women, then I would become suspicious as to whether they consider the unborn to be a full member of the human community. And to me, that's the foundational issue, not whether contraception increases or decreases abortion rates. And so my response then would be geared towards making the case that the unborn is a member of the human community from the moment of conception. And I believe I can make that case using scientific reasons as to why that's true. And I've made that case elsewhere, so I'm not going to make it here. But that's where I'd focus on, not so much about the question of contraception, but whether we're on the same page with regards to the status of the unborn. So far I've only offered a strategic point, and that is simply to not focus on the question about contraception, but rather upon figuring out what their view is with regards to abortion and whether they think the unborn is a human being or not, just like you and me. To me, that's the foundational question that you need to follow in a conversation like this. And again, as I said, I'm assuming that the average person who's in a conversation like this knows nothing about whether contraception helps or hinders the abortion rate. But I want to make another observation, and this is actually rather a subtle point, which I think some people might quibble with me about as to whether it's valid or even worth pursuing. You see, the challenge talks about decreasing the number of abortions. And my concern with this kind of language is that it makes it sound like we're concerned about this sort of abstract statistic, the number of abortions. And we're going to do whatever we can to sort of lower that metric. But the reality of the pro-life mission is that we're not just about lowering a metric. We are pro-life. We are protecting life, which means we're trying to protect innocent human beings from being killed. But it's that precise understanding that's being expressed here in this challenge that seems to be missing. They're not concerned about protecting innocent human beings from being killed. Otherwise, you think they'd be concerned with trying to ban abortion or make abortion illegal. And that's why I asked that first key strategic point, which is to figure out why they are precisely for decreasing abortion rates. Because if it turns out they are for decreasing abortion rates because they think it kills an innocent human being, then it seems that the logical way to do such a thing, i.e. reduce the number of people that are killed, is to make such a behavior illegal, i.e. ban abortion, which is precisely what they're saying they don't want to do. Because banning any behavior and making it illegal is going to drastically reduce the incidence of that behavior. And making abortion illegal actually has an additional benefit. And here's what it is. Laws have a tendency to inform the conscience of a culture. And so when you make a behavior or any kind of action illegal, then you send a message to the culture that such an action is questionable or immoral. And so naturally, by making abortion illegal, not only will it reduce its incidence, but it'll communicate to the rest of the culture over time that such a behavior is wrong, that there's something deeply wrong with engaging in that behavior. Now let me close with what seems to me to be the most glaring absurdity of this person's challenge, and that is the claim that they want to align themselves with pro-choice progressives, people who will increase contraceptive use, and thereby allegedly will be decreasing abortion rates. And these people who they want to identify with, they call their allies. Well, the staff at Planned Parenthood are pro-choice progressives who want to increase the use of contraceptive use. How is it that they would be the people who are trying to decrease abortions when they're the #1 provider of abortions in America? I mean, according to their own statistics, they say that 3,321 abortions occur each day in America alone, and they're the #1 provider of those abortions. So how are Planned Parenthood allies in the fight to decrease abortion? It would be like claiming you want to reduce the incidence of lung cancer and claiming that your greatest allies in the fight are Philip Morris or other tobacco companies. You know, I mean, this would make no sense. So if this person no longer wants to identify with the pro-life cause, well, then that's fine. That's their free choice to do so. But it seems highly unlikely that for them to partner with the #1 abortion provider in America is a helpful way to reduce the number of abortions when they are the one organization and pro-choice progressives are the one group of people who are fighting to keep abortion legal in America.